My goal for this presentation today, the training, is number one, to give you an insight into NH2 Global. Number two, to help you with the philosophy that one needs to have as a pioneer opening up in Nigeria. Number three, the potential that you have as a distributor here with NH2 Global. It's endless. And number four, some business building tips to help you in the next 90 days so you can reach and go after your dreams and your goals. For those of you who don't know me, I got started in 2001, the very first day the company launched. And prior to getting involved in NH2 Global, I'll share my story. I used to manage in health and racquetball clubs, actually in my early 20s. And my dream at that time was just to have fun. I was newly married, had a great job, had a lot of flexibility in that job. And Christmas time, 1992, the owners of the company said, "Joe, thank you very much. You've created such an incredible business here and earned the company lots of profits that we're now able to sell the company." And the next day, the company was sold. You know, through my ignorance, I had assumed, because I made these people all this kind of money, that I was going to get some profit sharing. And that didn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I can just kind of taste it now like it was yesterday. And I promised myself at that very moment I would never work for someone else again. I promised myself that I would never work for someone else again. And that was a defining moment in my life, because what I realized at that moment, that I was building someone else's dream instead of mine. This is what most people in the world are doing. They'd rather work hard for someone else than work hard on their own dream. And just to make a living, I wanted more. And I came home, and thank God for my wife. You know, we were newly married. She fully supported me. Fully supported me. She didn't worry about where the money was going to come from at that time. She fully supported me and my decision. So I started going and researching businesses, and I didn't have any mentors or someone that was successful in business to guide me. So I started doing a lot of research, started subscribing to the magazine. I don't know what came over me, but one day I came home one afternoon and I started to write down what I wanted my life to look like 10 years from that moment. That was another defining moment in my life. I literally created a plan for my life. And the top three things that I had on that dream list. The first thing is I wanted to have a business, but a home-based business. You see, I realized that I wanted to spend as much time with my family. I wanted to have the flexibility with my time. And I realized all the business people I knew back then basically bought themselves an expensive job. Second thing on that list, I knew the key to wealth was to create passive income. If you want lifestyle, you need to find a way where you make money while you sleep. You see, the majority of the world trades time for money. They'll work X amount of hours and they'll get paid. When they're sleeping, when they stop working, they stop getting paid. Well, the wealthy, which represents 3% of the population, which represents 99% of income globally, they have found a way where they can make money while they sleep. I wanted to be in that category. And the third thing on that list was I wanted a dream home. If I was going to work from home, I wanted a house that I could bring my family up, a house that I would be proud of. Soon as I put that on paper, I fell in love with my dream. That love was so strong, and I give you a good analogy of this. And most of you can relate, when you first fell in love with your spouse, for example, and you're courting, you didn't have to spend any energy thinking about that person. That person was in them playing and moving in your mind 24 hours a day. Every time you thought of that person, it would make you feel happy. My dream was the same way. I fell in love with that dream. And here's what happens when you fall in love with something. The universe will bend to your needs. The universe will set the people up will line you in a perfect way. And this is what happened to me. A few weeks later, I'm in my local library. I'm studying business. I'm doing research. And this is pre-internet. And a gentleman walked up to me and introduced me to network marketing. That was another defining moment in my life. I never heard of the business before. I didn't understand it. He actually invited me out to do a one-on-one presentation. It was a horrible presentation. And then eventually he invited me to a presentation, a live business presentation. I took my brother. It was June 23rd, 1993. I'm sitting in the back of the room. And within a couple of minutes, I had a born-again Christian moment. Another defining moment in my life. And this is what happens when you fall in love with your dream. The universe will put people in your way, will create these defining moments, and will tell you, this is it. This is it, Joe. And that's what happened to me that day. God was speaking to me from head to toe. I knew that this was the vehicle to my dreams. It's hard to eloquently share that with you, but what I experienced that day was nothing like I ever experienced up until that point. I knew 150% that this was the vehicle to my dreams. And my story doesn't end there. You know, obviously everything that I put on that paper, I was able to accomplish, and so much more, only because I fell in love with my dream. The dream that we have is the foundation to everything that we do in life, ladies and gentlemen. I did a webinar that you can get on the #1 training site in this industry. It's steamteam.ca. And this is a site, training site that I developed because I recognize repetition's a mother's skill. I wanted to train the organization in the right way. So if you go on steamteam.ca, if you haven't done that, go on there, register, it's free. Get on there under first 90 days. Click on first 90 days and you'll see a training that I did on Manifest Your Destiny. Watch that, please. Because I don't have the time today to go into my manifestation system. But this is what happened to me when I fell in love with my dream. It was that foundation that was built in my life, foundation that was built here in NHT, and the results are a given. So I'll give you a good analogy on why it's so important to have that foundation. So if you look on this side of the planet, you got Latin America, which is Mexico all the way down to the tip of Argentina. And then you got Canada and the United States. We're on the same side of the planet. We have basically the same resources, and we're basically founded by the same people, Western Europeans. But if you look at Canada and US, we've experienced abundance and prosperity almost from day one for 250 years. Where if you look at Latin America, which I just came back from, we had an incentive trip in Colombia, where the prosperity and abundance is nowhere near close for majority of the people. Nowhere near close. There are places in Latin America, many of them, that don't have electricity and running water. Just think about that. So they're on the same side of the planet, the same resources, founded by the same people. Why the distinct difference in prosperity and in abundance? Well, I just came back, as I shared with you, from a city called Cartagena. It's the #1 tourist city in Colombia. It's a port city. And that city, in the old part of the city, has a wall and extends for miles. And this wall was built in the late 1500s, started in the late 1500s. And it took years and years to build. And that wall was built to protect the city and its wealth from pirates. Why were they targeting the city, Cartagena? And the reason why is the Spanish, when they came to, and the Portuguese, Western Europeans, when they came to what we call Latin America today, they came looking for wealth, gold, diamonds, etc., etc. And they would take that wealth and they would store it into Cartagena. They had to build that, and the pirates knew it. So they built that wall, that fort, to protect themselves and protect their wealth. And what would they do is they put this wealth on ships and they would send it all the way back to Spain and Portugal. Whereas in Canada and the United States, when these two markets were founded, the people that were coming here, they were looking for a home. So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds of years later, you see the consequences of the founding members. Hundreds of years later, Latin America is still trying to catch up, still has a lot of corruption. The average person is nowhere near what you see in Canada and the US. People are not breaking the walls or sneaking into those countries. They're trying to sneak into Canada and the US because of the foundation. So I'm sharing with you the foundation that we have with this great team that Gloria set up. And I'd like to thank you, Gloria, for inviting me out to do this webinar. It is important and critical to our future launch of NHT Nigeria. So all of you need to go on and spend the time to know what your dreams are. They have to be specific. And I covered that in that training. I need you to go. You can't be, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to financial success, or I want to get out of debt. See, the subconscious mind, which is connected to everything that is, does not know what that is. With me, when I wrote those three things down, I absolutely was in detail on what I wanted in life. My dream home was already visioned well before I bought it. I knew how many rooms. I knew where it was going to be on the lake here in Lake Ontario. I knew it that day. So that is the foundation to what I've been building in NHT since 2001. So let me just share with you the launch of our global company and how that all happened. As you know, the launch of NHT Global was in Vegas, Las Vegas, in Nevada, in the United States, in May 2001. It was the first weekend in May, and we're coming up to our 17th anniversary here in May. And we were pre-launching before then, but the first official doors were there. I was there. I was the founding in that audience, you know, as we got started. And my dream was to take this business all over the world. And I knew the company didn't have the money at that time to invest in markets that we weren't doing business in. So I kind of created a strategy where I would take advantage of the power of the internet. You know, at that time, the internet was probably 1 out of 10 people had access to the internet. But I realized the power of what this was going to do to our business. And I started going out and meeting people all over the world and started recognizing, you know, I got to get, these people wanted to get the product. So I would do whatever it takes to get into that product, get the product into that market. We'd work with those people to get that market eventually open. And that took sales. When I got to 67, 80,000 a month in sales, I'd get back to NHT and say, look what we're doing. We've got this incredible woman, Gloria, in this market. We've got the great leaders already developed. This is what we're doing. It's time that we go and launch that market. And that's how we've done it all over the world. This year alone, we're launching into, we just launched in Peru last year. But this year alone, companies announced Bolivia and Colombia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Brunei in Asia. Those are the 5 next countries that we're actually officially launching, because we have people in those markets. We pre-launched in those markets like we're doing in Nigeria now. And the success has come from that. Okay, but being a pioneer is not easy. If you look at me, and this is the next part I want to go into, is the philosophy of my philosophy to help you all, because I was a founding distributor when I launched, right? I was in that first meeting, and my philosophy is real important for you guys to duplicate this, because I've been doing this all over the world. And if you look at our first year in NHT, we did $20 million in sales. However, myself, my business partner, Dan Canto, and an 80-year-old grandma, I call her the richest 80-year-old. Her name is Frances Maxwell. She's not a grandma. She doesn't even have, she's a step-grandmother. And in Arkansas, United States, and she was another person that signed up in the first year. So 3 people that actually launched an NHT in 2001. 3 people are still here. And many people today call us lucky. Oh, Joe, you were so lucky to be part of this company in the early days. Yeah, thousands of people have signed up that first year that had the same opportunity, but they didn't have the foundation. They didn't have the vision that Dan and I had, and eventually Francis. They did not have the vision. And that's why it's so important that you guys have that vision, that dream, because that will overcome the challenges. Okay? So as a pioneer, we all know the first year is the most difficult when the company is not even open. We may have, I know some of you and your team members are getting charged some duties. Yes, some of you are not getting charged. You know, there's not, where you're getting products from Europe. You're the first in the market. You know, there may be other issues in the future. So the first year is always the most difficult. But for the right people, just always remember, timing is everything. And what you have in Nigeria is a company that has an incredible story. You need to understand the story. The company's in the 17th year, over $2 billion in sales. The #1 business magazine in the world, Fortune magazine, the most credible business magazine in the world, has ranked us the fastest growing publicly traded companies, not just for 1 year, but 2 consecutive years, 2016 and 17. And 2015, we're #2. This is not network marketing companies, ladies and gentlemen. This is a publicly traded company of all companies. On that list is Google, Amazon, Facebook, you know, Apple, some of the biggest companies in the world, and we were #1. That is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. This is a company that has over $130 million cash in the bank. This is a publicly traded. This is not a company. There's many companies that have launched into Africa that are privately held. But you don't know what their numbers are. You don't see their books. You can do that all with NHT. This is social proof with a Fortune magazine, social proof for all of you that are sharing the business and the product, and to your friends, family, colleagues, that this is not a small company. This is not one of those fly-by-night companies, those scams that you get all over the world, the ones that are launching in Nigeria, the crypto scams and all the stuff that have no basis of foundation. This is a company that has the background. You look at myself and Dan, how many multi-million-dollar earners and leaders have that that have been in the company for at least 17 years like we have. This is unusual, right? It just shows you our vision, and our vision is to take this company to $1 billion annually, to pass our incomes to our kids and grandkids. So I want to make sure that you guys understand the privilege it is to get involved in NHT. You will not have in your lifetime the same opportunity with the same social proof that you can go to your friends and say, look, this is the company I belong to. Look at $130 million in cash. This is going to be a serious player in Africa. You should want to be part of a pioneer. This is a serious player. Everything's out there, fully transparent, fully 100% transparent. This is not a Mickey Mouse operation, not a Mickey Mouse. This is fully 100% transparent. So I want to help you guys understand this with the philosophy. Okay, so I've talked to you about your dreams, building the right foundation. I've talked to you about understanding the NHT story, real critical. I also talked to you, being a pioneer is not easy. If you look at our pioneers globally, our pioneers globally are multimillionaires, are six-figure income earners, many of them, because they got in the right time, the right place, and they listen to someone like myself to understand the philosophy of going to the next place, reaching your goals and your dreams. So I want you to help you understand this, because what you're part of is going to be massive. And many of you may not be here a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, and you look back and you see NHT doing events all over Africa. You see people like Gloria up on stage being recognized at the top position and saying, well, yes, it was difficult, but it was well worth it because I was in the pioneer. I led the team, and look where we are. We're changing the lives of women and men all over Africa. Now we have a global organization. Gloria is a great example. Another reason why you should understand NHT is we're open now officially in 50 countries. You can build all over the world. So Gloria, for example, is a great example where she has international team members all over the world. Now, she has international team members. So if you have contacts, so you may know someone in Lagos or Port Harcourt, for example, who knows someone in China, who knows someone in Europe, you know, in Italy or Toronto, Canada, or New York, in the United States, we can help because we have the systems in all these markets. So you don't have to do or learn what I did, where I was all by myself. You have the support of a huge system in place. And just think about this, you know, the Chinese is a great example. You know, China is our #1 market. You know, our fastest growing market now in North America are Chinese speaking people. Because what's happening is all our Chinese people that signed up over there are inviting their friends and family and colleagues in North America to join the business. How many Nigerians live in North America and live in Europe? You know, my home city in Toronto, I think now over 200,000 people live in the Toronto area that were born in Africa. I call that opportunity. That's what our business is all about. So yes, all of you are a pioneer in Africa, a pioneer in Nigeria, thinking about your own local market, but you've got the whole global marketplace to you, and the systems are in place. You don't have to, you know, learn what we did and set up the systems. Everything is there. The infrastructure is there for you. Okay, so let's review what I just shared with you. You got to have the right foundation, the dream. Second thing you have to have with the philosophy is you got to understand being a pioneer is not difficult, but being in the right time in the right place, you certainly are. Number 3, you need to understand the NHT story. Real critical. Need to have and understand the NHT story. Number 4 now is probably the most important philosophy decision you're going to make. This is not a get-rich-quick business. This is a lifestyle. 3 to 5 years to 10 years lifestyle. Okay? This lifestyle needs to be incorporated in your life every single day. I'm going into that next. You see in network marketing, because it attracts people from all kinds of backgrounds. People don't understand because they get caught into the hype that they can become millionaires and maybe this company is better than that company. But you got to understand, the company is not going to make you successful. It's going to be you and the people you surround yourself with and your upline leaders. Those are the 2 major factors. Because in every company that you will go to, and you see this all the time, we all have to do 5 things. You know, the grass is never greener, you know, because we still have to do those 5 things. Okay, the first thing is we need to be the product of the product. So we need to be our best customers. Okay, so for example, in Nigeria now, primarily we're shipping into Skindulgence, a facelift, and the Allura Lux. Incredible products. The facelift product is probably the best product I've ever marketed because it's highly demonstratable. People don't need any sales skills to sell this product. You just have to demo that product over and over and over again. I just heard from a woman in Guadalajara, Mexico, another country that we just opened up. Our first event, major event, is going to happen May 5th in Mexico City. May 5th in Mexico City. And this event is going to be life-changing. It's the first event in Mexico. Well, this woman's in Guadalajara, another city in Mexico. And she has no business background. She wanted to go to one of the top anti-aging shows. She got a booth, probably with a sign that said, look 10 years younger in 30 minutes. Free demonstration, free facial. She sold $19,000 worth of product her first day. She sold so many product in the traffic. There was lineups at all the other booths, all these professional companies, you know, that you would see in your department stores that invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in these trade shows. They were, you know, their ass, excuse my language, was being kicked literally by someone that had a $50 sign with chairs. And she sold $19,000 worth of product, just demo. And she was not asked to come back the next day. She didn't have any more product, but that was okay. But because of the demo of that product. So be a product of your product. Second thing is we do is we sell the product. We share the product. Okay, so I would recommend to use the tools that we have with NH2 Global. A great tool with this product is demonstrating it. Show the video that you can get on nh2global.com. You click on the US site, the Canadian site, or the European site, and you can go in there, click on the product under beauty. You can see, get the Skindulgence video. Very powerful video. On steamteam.ca, again, the #1 training site in the world. I'm going to go into that in a second. Under product training, there is a training on from the manufacturer that you can go on there and learn more about the ingredients and why the ingredients into that product. Okay. Third thing now is we need to share the business and get good at sharing the business. And I recommend for most people, all you have to do is send people to ynhd.com or yrbiz.com, biz.com, biz.com, depending if you're from the English school or you're from the American school, but biz.com. And that's a good first look for distributors, for potential distributors to look at the business. Okay. I know Gloria is very shortly is going to be setting up weekly presentations. I know she's been doing some of that, and it's really critical that we start doing that with this team in Nigeria. And so, because still, even with the age of the internet, local presentations is probably the best effective tool because you get the face-to-face, you feel the energy. So that's the third thing. And there's thousands of ways now, technology-wise, has allowed us to reach out to people all over the world with technology. Fourth thing, and this is the most important part, is you need to personally develop your skill sets. One thing you'll learn from me is the money that you will make in your business and in your life will be based on how much time you spend on yourself in developing your skill sets. No professional athlete, every professional athlete understands their results will be based on how much time they practice. There was a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. You can get that on Amazon. He's a Canadian author. And this book is a study of successful people. He studied athletes and he studied people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. And the one common denominator that he got from his studying of successful people, you'll read it in the book, that every successful person that he studied spent minimum 10,000 hours working on their skill sets and their mindset. Minimum before they started making major money. You see in network marketing, a lot of people come in and they spend 100 hours, 200 hours, and they say, Joel, I'm not making any money. Think about it. That's ridiculous. No athlete, every athlete understands to make it to the top, you got to pour. It has to be a lifestyle. Pour that investment into you. The greatest investment that you can make into yourself is this, personal development. That's why everyone that I start in the business, everyone, and I want you guys all to duplicate, is I start them with the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And you can get that on Steam Team under personal development. And make sure everyone studies that book that was written by Wallace Wattles in the turn of the century in 1900s. It's a classic, and it's all about the science of getting rich. And that's the laws of the universe. And make that your Bible. Make that your Bible. Feed your mind with greatness. One of the challenges that we have in today's life is we have so many distractions on the internet, so much garbage. And, we're exposed to what's happening all over the world and all the crime and the suffering. You got to protect your mind. Protect your mind from this garbage, because garbage in, garbage out. You want to grow an organization, you got to be positive. You got to be respectful for people. You got to have people see you that you're up all the time, not down, and excited. You know, no one wants to work with someone that is negative and not good to be around with, right? There's a lot of vampires out there. Feed your mind with greatness every day. I do that every single day because it's the key to my success. And I'll share with you why it's important every single day. Show the product every day. Show the business every day. Feed your mind every day. You know, NASA, which is the North American Space Agency, a number of years ago, 5 years ago, did a study. They took astronauts, and these astronauts had to put these glasses on and wear them 24/7. The challenge was these glasses made them look upside down. Think about it. If you were in that study, these glasses were making you feel ill because you were seeing upside down. You can't do nothing. You know that 26 days later, every single one of those astronauts started seeing right side up with the glasses on. They did a second study, different astronauts, but they had to change it by 1 day. By day 15, they had to take the glasses off for 24 hours. After 24 hours, start again. You know that second study, every single one, just missing 1 day, took an additional 26 days to start seeing right side up. 1 day started the cycle all over again. Just think about this, and then go back to falling in love with your dream. When you fall in love with your dream, and you follow my Manifest Your Destiny training, it's in front of you every day. Every day, you're showing the product, showing the business, visualizing your goal. You watch that training. So think about when you have these glasses on, and you're in that study, what are you thinking about? I can't wait till the study's over. This is making me sick. Your whole thoughts are centered around taking these glasses off. And what happened? 26 days later, you got what you want. The brain's developed enough neural pathways to give you what you want. You manifested that in your life. But by just missing 1 day, it started the cycle all over again. And this is what I see with people. I'm talking to you, and I'm telling you the secret to success is being consistent every day. Make it a part of your daily routine. Brushing your teeth, you don't have to think about it. You do it every day. If you do it once a week, every other, you're not going to get the results, and you're going to have teeth decay. Do it every day, you're going to have healthy teeth. It's easy to do, easy not to do. The key to success in building an organization is if you help feed the mind of your people. If you don't, that room is going to be fed by something else. And if you help people raise their consciousness, they will figure out the rest. This is what our business is all about, leadership. Leadership. And the fifth thing, this is where the most money is being made. The most money is being made is teaching people how to do those 4 things. And when you do that, following my system here, and you help people with those 4 things, you're going to have much prosperity and abundance. Much prosperity and abundance. And that's one of the reasons, again, going back to steamteam.ca, that's one of the reasons why I've developed this site, to give you every training that is possible, to help people plug into that site. It's real important. Plug into that. That's part of teaching people. You got to plug into the system. You know, if you're not part of the NHT Global community page on Facebook, you need to be a part of that. It's another way that you're going to get NHT updates and testimonials, and plug your people into that. So if you haven't done that, you know, search for me on Facebook, whyjoegarcia.com. I'm sorry, facebook.com/whyjoegarcia. Just type it in the search bar, whyjoegarcia, WHY, and friend me, follow me, and then I will add you to the NHT Global community page because it's a closed group. Okay, so those are the 5 things that we do daily, that I do daily, and I've been doing it over and over and over again. It's a lifestyle. I don't even have to think about it anymore. So I'm moving to the end of this presentation, and I hope all of you understand I'm speaking from the heart. I see incredible future in Africa. The next 10 years is going to explode in Africa in this industry for a number of reasons. You know, I just came from an incentive trip for our Peruvian group. I know some of you have seen my pictures that I've taken down there. And we have some people down there that qualified. And there's one woman, Concepcion, that qualified. And she lives in the shanty town in Lima, which is their capital city in Peru. And they're basically squatters that has grown over time. And the government has just left it alone because it would have been a political nightmare. But in that part of town, there's no electricity, running water. Her sponsor went to her home, asked to plug in his computer because he wanted to show the presentation. And she said, sorry, I don't have electricity. And thank God for him. He didn't prejudge her. He just went ahead and showed her the presentation. You know, and this woman has been working, she's a single mother. She's been working 15 hours work week cleaning homes. And she shared with me on Sunday. She eventually got started in the business. She shared with me last weekend. And this is what this business is all about, is that she no longer has to clean homes anymore because of the NHT. She now has hope for her future, better life for her son. This was her first time on an airplane, first time on a 5-star resort, first time to eat 5-star food. You can imagine life impacting. And we've extended for Nigerians, we've got this creation center, which I'm going to be there in September. We've extended it because it was supposed to be in June. So you all have the opportunity to participate in that by qualifying for that incentive. And if Concepcion can do it, can you imagine? No running water, no electricity, lives in a shanty town, you know, cleaned houses all her life. And look what she's been able to accomplish. Unbelievable, because she had a dream. She followed what I shared with you here on this webinar. I'll share with you a few more pioneering stories. We have a woman in the United States. Her name is Huna. In 2001, she came to the United States with her husband. She had a little baby boy, and her husband left her for another woman. So she's in a new country, didn't speak the language, single mother, no background, no support system, no business background, no support system. And she came out to a meeting. She wasn't even allowed to come in because she had no babysitter for a child. So she was listening through the crack of the door. She ended up getting started that day. Her first year, I don't think she made more than $1,000. 4 years later, she was in the $1 Million Club and recognized. And to date in the organization, she's earned upwards towards $180 million, $180,000 in commissions in 1 week. Look at the obstacles that she overcame because of a dream. One of our pioneers in China, the pioneer, her name is Mao Li. You know, think about it. And when we started in China, network marketing was illegal. We had no approvals there. Nothing was in Chinese. No one spoke any English. So all the labels and materials were all in English, right? Her dream was to move to Canada and bring her family. She was able to accomplish that in NHT. Timing, ladies and gentlemen, timing. She was committed. She followed my steps, you know, the philosophies. And look what's happened 18, 17 years later. You know, 2 years ago in Hong Kong, she has moved to Canada. She's made over $20 million in her career in NHT. $20 million. She came from a communist market, didn't speak any English. You know, it was much more difficult than it is in Nigeria and shipping product in. No one understood how to take the product or enter people into the computer because only 1 out of 10 people, not even 1 out of 10 people had access to the internet in China at that time, right? So 2 years ago, she was recognized on stage. And they showed a little video bio. where she was giving the Prime Minister of Canada $500,000 to the Sick Kids Hospital. So it was a donation to her local hospital in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. $500,000 worth of commission to a new country. Think about that. The lives that have changed around the globe just because of the decision she made many years ago. These are women that had unbelievable obstacles, and they look what they've been able to accomplish because of their dream. In Nigeria, we can get the product in. Yes, we Nigerians speak English. You know, yes, we do have a little bit of challenges. Sometimes some of you are getting charged with duties. Some of you are not. Yeah, that happens in pioneering markets. I want to give you the vision of what people have gone through, what they've been able to accomplish. I can see all of you, watching this in the future on stages around Africa as thousands of people recognizing you to great success. So I invite you all to learn about our Supreme bonus, to get to the first rank and the second rank of the recognition plan, all the way up to global ambassador. I know there's a race to global ambassador and being the first in Africa, and the first few in Africa. You guys all do it when you have the right foundation, when you have that dream. And I want to just share with you that I am committed, just to give you an example, guys, down through Dalabor's organization, Gloria's sponsor, you guys are probably like 2,000 levels below me. But I'm taking the time. Actually, I've done 2 webinars today because of my mistake with the timing. 2 webinars today. I've taken the time with my heart, to share with all of you the vision, my vision for Africa. And if you don't take it, that's okay, because there will be others, guaranteed. And we will have an incredible presence in Africa. We've done it all over the world. And Africa is just a matter of time. So it's your choice. Do you want to be like Dan, myself, and Francis that got started in the first year, no story, and everyone thinks we're lucky? It's your choice, and that starts with your dream. Please take the time to go to STEAM Team. Teach your people to connect, to plug into the system. Get on NHD Global Community, and we can do this together as a team. God bless to you all. Thanks for joining me today. I have recorded this, so in the next couple of days, I'll clean it up, send it over to Dalibor and Gloria, so you can put it up on STEAM Team. I actually have an African link on STEAM Team under International, and I'll put it up on there so you can share this with your friends, colleagues. And I like to end the webinar in Spanish. Down there in Latin America, they always say Viva, and I'm saying Viva Nigeria, Viva Africa. God bless you all. Take care.